welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. We're almost matching over here. It's weird.
Yeah, it is kind of. I should be wearing like a hat. You should have a collar, but it's all right.
The collar would be hidden anyways because of my beard from what I'm looking in the screen here. Yeah. So.
And thankfully, people at home can't see like the lower half. We're matching entirely. We're both wearing flannel sweatpants now.
I'm like, wait, are we? No, we're close though.
Lime green Crocs. I don't know.
You mean gray because we can't see green.
Yeah. Actually, I'm wearing gray shoes for once.
I know, shocking.
Yeah.
I have gray shoes on too.
Now, in my defense, though, these are NASA kicks, so they got NASA logos all over them, so that's fun.
I'm old, so I wear Skechers with memory foam.
Oh, the things that it doesn't want to remember anymore.
But with that being said, we're already getting off track and we just started, but we're doing another one of our fun Chits Giggles one, and I know this one drove you insane. This one's specifically for me and also for our friend who makes us buy a lot of games.
Yeah. And so here's the thing with this list, right? There's so many games that have gone through our collections that it was so hard for me to remember.
Who did what?
Who brought what game into what collection? Because I just remember playing them and going, oh, okay, this is cool.
All right, I got to pick it up if I can find it on a deal or Bookman's Run.
Yeah. And also part of me is that I always buy games so much. I have a larger shelf of shame than you guys do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I cycle through games a lot faster and a lot more. So a lot of times I'll find games that like I might even buy and then not play for years, and then one of you guys will show me a game. It's like, okay, cool. So that doesn't quite count.
Because you already owned it.
Because I already owned it.
It's just sitting on your pile of shame.
Right, exactly. Shame. Exactly. So this episode today is our top 8 Dammit Dom games. Friend of the podcast. We've had him on the show.
You've seen him
a
couple times. He helped us re-rank the top 100, and he also helped us rank our own personal top 100s. You can look that up at our favorite games, or the greatest games of all time is how I think I worded the title. So. Yep.
Not all demanding it. In any way, but no. And we call him Dammit Dom because of this very reason.
Yeah. So this was a real easy list for me because I came up and I just put a third one on my list just to have another honorable mention that I knew was on the short list anyways. Uh-huh. So I put it up there. But it was really easy to come up with like 15, 20 games for me. I was like, I just went through my list. That was him, that was him, that was him. I even went through my top 100. Yep, that was his, that was his. And I mentioned it in our top 100 that this was a Dammit Dom game and stuff like that. So very, very simple and very easy to say for me to make. I had this done in 5 minutes.
Mine took me about 5 days because
I know we had a whole discussion
at game night. I had to pick his brain
night
about it. I had to go, wait, did you make that? Did you play this one? Did you show me this one? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I had this one before, and it was a whole thing. So you probably know most of my list, and that's fine. That's not going to be any spoil.
Well, that's not necessarily true because he's like, oh, we did this. And we're like, oh, that is right. And I could pick bits and pieces of it, remember some of it. Like, I know for one, there's one that's going to be pretty high on your list and you don't own it yet.
Maybe. That I will say, though, like, one of the funniest things is, like, I remember you enjoying my reactions. But like, oh, yeah, I showed you this one. I'm like, yeah, you did. It's like...
What we were talking about, certain specific games that we may or may not be playing
exactly
later this week.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, no, he's showing us a lot of games.
And a lot of good ones.
And a lot of good ones, yeah.
Because a lot of these are stuff that were so good, they are in my top 100, actually. I think every single one of my top Dammit Dom game here is in my top 100. And the other ones are like short lists that just didn't make it or are on the back end of my top 100. But I know for a fact every single one of these are in my top 100.
I don't know how many of these are. I think maybe one.
Okay, I have your list there, so if you ever want to check it.
Yeah, we can check it later. Sounds good. But before we get into that, Daniel, what have you been playing lately?
So, I know we just talked about it, and we had a little fun with it in the last one, where we were talking about Star Wars Day. And I did get some Star Wars game on Star Wars Day, May the 4th. We're recording this on the 5th.
Yeah, we're Revenge of the 5th.
Yeah. But I am not going to talk about Star Wars games till probably next month, because there's some games that I haven't played, or I played before that I want to talk about. But just know, in June, you'll be hearing some Star Wars games getting talked about because there are some good ones that I just recently played. But for first and foremost, I talked about it on the last podcast. There was 2 Trick or Treat Studio games that I played. I finally got to play the third one that I was trying to get played that night as well. And this one is Chucky.
Yeah.
I really did like this game. And it's funny because it's another good one from Trick or Treat Studios, but my wife said it really good when we were describing this game. Most games overstay their welcome. We wanted this to go another round or 2.
Oh, wow.
Like, it just felt like, okay, now it's starting to pick up.
Yeah.
We're understanding how everything is, and then after the third round, we'd do the final mission, and that's it. And you were like, maybe one more round, maybe 2, or go to 5 rounds rather than 3 rounds, and then the final mission. I don't know how it would, but it felt like it was just needing a little bit more. But I still liked it pretty well. I probably would rake it about 6 or 7, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. It's a fine game, but it was fun, and it was not what you were expecting. Like, when you're talking about House of a Thousand Corpses or Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they really bring out the feel of the movie or the theme that they're coming out. You feel like the slaughterhouse family's after you in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you're trying to run away as he's busting through doors. Or in Halloween, you feel that tension where, like, I just saw him and now there's just footsteps. I know he was there on the map. Or the tension that you're feeling in, like, House of a Thousand Corpses, like, oh no, that sheriff is going to rescue that person. Okay, I found the one we needed. Oh no, he's a 4. He's running pretty fast to the door. Please, you're pulling that run, rabbit, run card, and you're, please run over there. This one, you're just a bunch of investigators trying to, I guess, find out all the stuff. You're sacrificing victims to get card play, to do really well in the final game, where you'll get bonus cards for the first part of the round that could either help you there or help you with some of your dice rolls and stuff like that. It just feels a little disjointed. It's fun. It's a nice little puzzle. The mini games when you're going to the end of the round are fun because there's like a push your luck, or there's an actual gambling where you go head to head with another player, and if you win, you get a bonus reward. If you lose, you get a punishment, which is really neat. These like little fun mini games are fantastic. The second part of a round is way better than the first part of the round. Because the first part of the round is just blind bidding, where you're deciding where you're going to go, and if you're going to win it, or if you're going to get a reward. And sometimes you're sitting there, and that's an interesting choice, because, like, I think I'm going to lose this one, but I need to make sure I bid this number, because this is the reward I can get if I bid this number, because I need more victims to make sure I can pay for the cost if I win something later down the line, because I know my high one's over there. And you have to pay the victims, or you take a penalty. And you have some skill checks. So there's the 3 skills that you're going to have to check going into the mini game. Depending on where you are, you add 1 or 2 or none or -1. And if you get off the board, you're always -1 and you can never regain that skill. So it's got some little interesting nuances to it, but it needs more. And that was our big gripe about it. That's why I only rated about a 6, because it just feels it needs a little bit more. It's pretty quick. We played a new game for 4 players in about 30 to 45 minutes. I think if you just add 15 more minutes to it, maybe 1 more round, or this way you have a better feel of it. Just the 3 rounds, 3 end games, and then boom. Because it comes with 5 scenarios in the box. You only play with them 3 at a time. And then depending on whichever certain thing that happens, that will determine what final scenario you're all vying for. Everybody's going to vie for it, and then you just keep doing a bunch of skill checks afterwards. That's all fine and dandy. It just felt less like a Chucky game and more like it's just a painted on theme game.
I was about to say, it's like, did it feel like it was Chucky? Because it didn't, that description didn't sound like, I don't remember anything about Chucky from that.
No, it honestly, it just has the Chucky theme, and the only thing that really felt, that made it feel Chucky is that the scenarios that you're going into like an abandoned doll factory, or the military institute, or like a haunted house or something like that. All those are from different parts of the Chucky lore, whether they're movies or the TV shows, because I think there's like 6 or 7 Chucky movies and 1 TV show. Yeah. So it has those in there, but that's it. That's really the only thing in there. Other than that, you're just investigating. You're like criminal investigators in college or something like that, and you're trying to prove that Chucky existed or something like that. It's the worst one when it comes to matching the theme and the mechanism to what it's doing. Like I said, all the other ones, you really feel that tension of those horror movies. This one is just like, it's Chucky. There's a painted on theme on this one.
Sure.
But all in all, I did like it. I just wish it had more.
Makes sense. Cool. First one I want to talk about was a game that just very recently been reprinted. Apparently it's almost like 10 years old, if not longer. It's by Marca and Incas brand, and it's a simple little dice game printed by 25th Century, remade with Ian O'Toole artwork. It's called Sausage Sizzle. And this is your Australian barbecue, like you're at a sausage sizzle, right? You're making sausages. And the thing is, all these animals are coming along to try and take your food. But the sausages look extra tasty. But they're very risky because you don't want to let them eat your sausages, you know what I mean? So I don't know what that smirk is for, but get it off your face. No. So the idea of this game is pretty simple.
This is a family-friendly show?
It is kind of like a Yahtzee game. You will score each of your 6 animals once per game, and you play 6 rounds each. On your turn, you have 8 dice. 4 of them are food dice. 4 of them are critter dice. Okay? So what you're trying to do is you roll all 8 of your dice at the beginning. You can set aside any number of dice, but you must set aside at least 1. And then you re-roll all the remaining, then set aside at least 1, and again, as many as you want, but at least 1. And you keep doing that until you're set. What you're going to do is you're going to multiply the one animal of your choice, the number of dice you rolled of that animal. So let's say I rolled 3 alligators, right? It would be 3 alligators times the lowest number I've rolled all on my food dice.
Okay.
And the numbers on the food dice range anywhere from 2 to 5. Except they might also have sausages on it. And if I roll at least 1 sausage, that counts as a 1, which is not great. Because then if you roll like 1, 2, or 3 sausages, then it's only a 1 times multiplier.
Okay.
Which isn't great at all.
Yeah.
Unless you shoot the moon and go for all sausages. Then it's 7 times. And that's exciting. That makes it super fun.
Okay.
And knowing that it's like Yahtzee with a shoot the moon mechanism. It's super fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a very simple, casual little game. I played it with a group that I normally demo at our local shop.
Okay.
We sat together and played the whole way through. Very fun. And then even one of them, I was like, what was that name? Like, I gotta check out this game out, right? And we played it with my family too, and we just had a good time with it. Sausage Sizzle by Inca and Marcus Brand.
Family-friendly show, let me remind you.
Oh, just wait.
All right, so the next game I'm going to talk about here is one of my favorite themes, and you don't really see this theme a lot. There's a little bit of mythology-themed games, like not Funforge. That's the company that does it, but Dice Forge is one of them. But it's not really. It's like overarching. There's Norse mythology and Greek mythology in that game. Right. But this one here is Greek mythology, which is one of my favorite mythologies out there. There's Zeus, Hera, and stuff like that. And this game is from Space Cowboys called Elysium. This had been on my shelf of shame for a little bit. And the other one that was on there that is another Greek mythology one is Deus. I had played that earlier. I talked about it a couple months ago. I think I like both of these games for different reasons. Elysium, I like this one because it is...
2 different designers, right?
Yeah, 2 different designers, 2 different companies. Pearl Games, I think, is the one that did Deus. But just the theme, that's all they really share. But I think the reason why I like the way Elysium works is kind of worker placement, drafting in a sense. So what you have is you have 4 pillars. Everybody has the same 4 pillars. They're red, blue, green, and yellow, if I remember correctly. And if you're going to draft a card or you're going to draft a... like end of round ranking, basically you're determining first player and stuff like that. And so what's going to happen is you're drafting one of these 2 things, and depending on which one you draft in the round marker, you're going to be able to move stuff down into the bottom of the pyre, because you have 2 lines basically, and you have a board that separates them. Your top line is everything that you have in your tableau, and that's when their powers will activate if they're in your tableau, depending on when the powers tell you they're going to activate. And then you have bottom of the line where you're setting them in the set collection aspect of the game. And you have 2 different set collection areas. You have number set collections, because all the cards have a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3. And so when you put them in your level set, you're putting all the level 1s in there for each of the 5 different families. So you'll have 5 different level 1s representing the different colors and stuff like that. And then you have the level or the families, which is based on the Greek gods, and you'll have a level 1 of Hades, you'll have a level 2 of Hades, and a level 3 of Hades. I don't think it's Hades. I think there's like 8 gods, or 7 gods, you only play with 5 of them or something like that. What's neat about it is because you have those 2 levels, and it's like, oh, but I really want to keep this power out there, but I don't want someone to force me to trash something out of my tableau, because if I lose that card, I lose that power, and then it's going to mess up my set collection. Yeah. And then you get points based on how big your grouping is and stuff like that in there. So if I have 3 level 1s, and then I have all of my level of such and such family, I get bonus actions for that as well, because you get bonus points at the end of the game. For the first one that meets it, they get the higher number, and the second person that meets it gets the next number, and then everybody else is SOL. But I loved everything about it. The artwork's fantastic. And going back to the worker placement, I got sidetracked just because of I had to talk about the set collection. When you're buying something, you take whatever you have to spend for it. And sometimes it's going to say you need to spend a green and a yellow. So I take those 2 off my board, and out of those two, I have to discard one of them, and I get to pull one of them back. So out of the red and the yellow, I pull the red back, and the yellow's gone, because I'm like, I don't need anything in the yellow, so I'll go ahead and spin that one. Yeah. But you got to be careful, because the 4 boards that are up there, you'll always get one, and more than likely, if you don't spin anything over there, you're going to get the last one. But if there's something you specifically want to do, because they have actions for the second round, like how to get them down there, it's like, hey, you get this much, or you get this many victory points, or you can take 2 of your cards and put them into your set collection aspect of it, or 3, or just 1, depending on what you're going to do. If you don't have the color for it, you have to flip it to the other side, and then you just get to put 1 card. That's your reward. Okay. And so you get a little bit punished if you can't pay for it, in a sense. So I like that aspect of it. And the same thing with the cards is like, I have to draft a card, but I'm going to put it face down, and then it's just a person in my thing. But each of the cards will also score you. Some of the cards may score you in-game scorings, like if you have so many civilians in your tableau. But any civilian that goes into your set collection are negative points, unless you have something that says they become positive points. So it's like that little push and pull aspect of set collection that I like, plus a little bit of worker placement, and you just sit there and go, oh, my choices, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I really dug what this one does, and I don't know which one I like more. I lean more to Elysium just because it adds a little bit of set collection, it adds a little bit of worker placement, and it's like some tough choices, but Daedalus is really good too. So, but got to play Elysium. Thought it was really good. Finally got to play both of these games, and I don't see either one of these games going out of my system or my collection. So Elysium.
Cool. Next game I wanted to talk about is probably one of the ugliest games that I've played in a long time.
No.
But it was incredibly clever. It's a game about time traveling. This is called Temporum. By
I was going to say Anachrony, huh?
No, that's a beautiful looking game. No, the Temporum, this is from Donald X. Vaccarino, the creator of Dominion. This is through Rio Grande Games as well. And this is a game about time traveling. And the idea is that you have a pyramid of cards, and essentially you're just trying to get your tokens to their 4th age. You start on the 1st age, and if you get all 10 of your tokens to the 4th age, you win. So it's kind of like a race to 30 victory points, in a way. But there's a little bit more to it than that. So the board itself is made up of a pyramid. The first age is 1 card, then 2 cards, 3, and then 4. And they all branch off into each other. Okay. And there's 6 little time tokens. They look like the hands of a clock, and they're facing. So they branch down, and you start on like the future of that timeline. And so there's a bunch of cards that you deal out at the beginning that make up that grid, and there's a whole big stacks of each of those ages that you can use. And the way that the hands fall, that is the real timeline. That is what happens. So you might start on the Age of Antiquity, and then that led to like a plague, which led to like the Industrial Revolution, and then finally an AI revolution or whatever, right? And so that's showing you the real timeline.
Terminator?
Yeah, it could be. And every turn you take ultimately the same steps. If you are not on the bottom row on the future line, you can alter the future, which just means that you take the little tick that's on the little clock hand.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, the little clock hand that's underneath your card and move it to the opposite side, which could completely alter the real timeline. Because all you did was just like, oh, you stepped on a butterfly and then therefore, boom.
The butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect. And there actually is a card for the butterfly effect, and it's really funny. And so...
Horrible movie, though.
Yeah. But you just move that little piece over, and then that creates a new timeline. Everybody immediately jumps still in their same age to the real timeline. Mm-hmm. They don't change anything. But then you move up or down as far as you want to any one of the 4 cards that's in that timeline, and you can stay on the same one. A lot of those will let you either draw cards, get money, play cards to score them, which you expend money to get points for it, or use their abilities, which is altering all sorts of cool stuff, or making people draw cards, or discard cards, or manipulate timeline, and all sorts of cool abilities, right?
Yeah.
It's a clever card play game. But what makes it really neat is that there is ways that you might be like the controller of each of the ages. If you rule the age, and that age 1, 2, 3, and 4 that I was talking about earlier, where you're moving all of your pieces down, that's also a mini area control game. So if I have more crowns in age 2, for example, I rule age 2. So therefore, I might get a bonus ability on some of those actions. So you're trying to put them in the right spot, and then also have more tokens than your opponents, but then at the same time, be able to trigger the abilities that you want to do to play the right cards at the right time to score the points to win the victory. It's super fast. It played in like 40 minutes. Like me and one other player played it in like real quick. It just felt super clever, and the fact that there's so many different age cards. Hey, Board Game Bard. It just fantastic selection of different things. I really hope that this game gets like a new reprint of some kind with really pretty art. I think this could just absolutely get like.
It's a Donald X Vacana game. It's not going to get pretty art.
Probably not.
I mean, look at the most recent one. What is it? Bloodbath on the Moon Colony or something like that? Exactly. It's not that great of art. It looks like something from the 80s.
So Greed, which is another card game from him, from Queen Games, looks pretty cool. Right? It has a very noir,
Okay,
mafioso
what's funny about that is you're mentioning a Queen game being the best looking out of all the games of
right.
his.
And this is from Rio Grande Games. No offense to him. I love
exactly.
Rio Grande Games.
Welcome to the Moon Bloodbath, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the Moon Bloodbath. I do want to try that. I really do. It sounds awesome. But, I mean, this game, just Temporum, just worked really well. I was really impressed with it. It's I can't wait to play it again. That was probably my pick of the night.
Nice.
So, Temporum.
All right, so my next pick here that I'm going to talk about is a Ryan Lockett game. I'm a big fan of Ryan Lockett. Speaking of Dammit Dom, he collects all the Ryan Lockett games, and he's jealous I own this one. You can't see it. It's right behind me. It is Artifact Inks from Ryan Lockett. One of his older games. I was able to pick it up on one of our most recent Bookman runs. I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to try this one out. It's a fun little dice placement, worker placement. It's Ryan Lockett, so what do you expect on that aspect of it? But it's also a really decent engine builder where you're trying to build up and how you trigger and how you lay out what is going on with how your thing is going to end up being. Because you're all archaeologists. Between him and Phil Walker Harding, I think I'm pretty good when it comes to archaeology games. Yeah. And so you're basically trying to sell to the museum and have a little area control there, and whoever does the best in the area control aspect of things. But you're also doing the fun little push your luck is like, where do I want to put this? Do I have enough to buy this? And it's a race to 20 points. The first person that crosses the 20-point threshold, we finish out the round. Whoever has the highest score wins. Yeah. And so I've been enjoying the mess out of Ryan Lockett games. Speaking of which, we'll talk about another one probably next month, unless it's on your list today. But he does really good engine building games that are fantastic, and you could see this is one of the first starts of it. Since we're not talking about it, I'll go ahead and reference it a little bit. We just played Creature Caravan recently and thought that was really good. I feel a lot of what he did in Artifact Inks translated into Creature Caravans to make a much more efficient game, and it is so good. I really did like it a lot. Some great artwork, because Ryan Lockett games are going to have some good artwork. Fun little engine builder, dice placement, in a small table presence. That's the big thing. And I honestly don't see it taking longer if you're playing with more players. I played it at 2. I think a 4-player game is not going to add too much time because it's very quick. You're basically doing the dice rolling almost simultaneous. It's quick and moving. So, fantastic game, Artifact Inc.
And Board Game Bar, just to answer your question, I don't consider most games engine builders because by the end of an engine builder, you're supposed to be able to do...
Things trigger other things, and that this one is
Right.
like, if I do this, then I can do this, or I get some more rewards based on what I did here. And so that's what I mean about engine building, and that's what Artifact Inc. gives you.
Yeah. So, next one I want to talk about is a designer that you and I both like, and I found this game and at our last Bookman's run, and I was like, okay, looks kind of old, but it has this designer on it. I'm in to play it. This is called Emerald from Rudiger Dorn.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one with the big, beautiful dragon on the front. Well, I say beautiful. It's not that pretty. But the big dragon on the front.
You just talked about a Donald X Machina game, so...
It doesn't look that bad. Deus Ex Machina? We already talked about Deus earlier. No. So this game...
Big Ugly Dragon.
Yes. So Emerald is a game where you are trying to collect basically the most points by delving into the dragon's cave and picking up his treasures, right?
Yeah.
You're either going to walk away with some gold or you're going to walk away with some gems. Gems can give you bonuses, but are also worth some points. And that's pretty much it. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be moving 2 of your pieces each turn. And when you move them down, I'll explain the movement here in a bit, because that's what makes it really unique. If you land on a spot inside the dragon's cave that has a gem or a money or a gold coin on it, you can take one of the 2. If you take gold, it's worth anywhere from 1 to 5 points, depending on how many gold coins are on it. That's all that is.
Yeah.
If you make it to the end of the cave, you can also pick up a cave dweller token or a card, and that's worth 5 points as well. But the gems are always worth 1 point, no matter what. However, at the end of the game, 4 points is awarded to whoever has the most of each colored type of gem.
Yeah.
So it's a majority thing. So you could go for that. That's sometimes really beneficial. Sometimes going for the gold is really beneficial. It depends. But what makes this really fun is 2 things. One, the dragon constantly just moves back and forth. Every time you land, there's a big wooden bar that goes over the board. And when you land on any space that is within that bar, you roll a die. It's a 1, 2, or 3, and he moves that many spaces. If he lands on a space with a pawn, that pawn's eaten, puts into the cave, they're gone, right? And that's one of the end game triggers potentially, but it also hurts like the movement.
Yeah.
However, if it lands on a space with 2 or more pawns, whoever rolled the die decides which pawn goes, which is always fun. Like, I loved landing on the same spot as somebody else.
Pissed me off the most.
And then rolling it and like, and that's obviously not my pawn. Boom. Player elimination is an endgame, yeah. So when one player has 1 pawn. But here's the cool thing. It's not a roll and move. The way it works...
It's a roll and move.
It's not... Well, the dragon is, right?
Dragon's a roll and move.
The way you move is you move one of your pawns. You choose one of your color. And the number of pawns that are in that space is how many spaces that pawn can move. So if it is in a set with 4 pawns, I get to move it 4 spaces forward. If I then move another pawn that's from that same set, it's only 3 spaces down.
Because
Rudiger Dorn always comes up with some cool, simple little mechanism. And you like that. Like in Istanbul, it works so well.
It's so good.
In so many of his other games that I've played, he always has one cool little unique twist.
Was it the exploration game we played of his? That was Rudiger Dorn too, right?
Maybe
where it's a grid. And you're taking different pawns. I can't remember what the name of it is.
We'll have to look.
But it's something you own and brought over, and you're like, oh, this is the guy that did Istanbul. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, probably then. Yeah. I mean, it's just like 4 of any pawns. Yeah, 4 of any pawns. So if you, me, Daniel, and like one other person, or I have a second pawn, right?
Yeah.
Even if I have a second pawn, I can move either of my 2 pawns 4 spaces, right? If it's just by itself, it only moves a single space, right? And so, like, you could launch a pawn way far forward and try and just, like, get through the cave fast. But the thing is, it's by itself. It's moving 1 space every turn, and then the dragon is bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Right? It's super fun. And it's really clever. Rudiger Dorn is now one of those designers where I'm like, I will always, always try one of his games.
Yeah, I'm always willing to try Rudiger Dorn games. Istanbul is in my top 20, I believe. I think it was my number 20 for a reason. It's such a fantastic little game, and I'm glad I had to hunt for my Istanbul copy because it was for a while out of print. You couldn't find it. I think they're just starting to cycle back in because I've been seeing a couple more copies in the wild.
Yeah.
But it took me forever to find mine, and I got the big box version of it too. So.
I'll look for the game that we're talking about to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, like, Five Tribes has that same level of clever in it, except the difference is Rudiger Dorn makes his thing so succinct, so elegant, so simplified, but just there's one little cool twist that just makes the game very lovely. This needs to come back into print. It's super cool. Right. I was really impressed with it.
Cool. My last game I'm going to be talking about is one that you want to play. One that I mentioned I found a physical copy of.
You always do this where you want to play this game.
My wife was able to find a physical copy of this over in Washington while she was up there.
Yes.
And it's a fun little Western theme flip and right game known as Flip Town. I do have one gripe for this one, though.
Yep.
The writing is ridiculously small. So if you have bad eyesight, I recommend reading glasses or magnifying glasses because sometimes it is very, very difficult to see. So that is rough for people. But other than that, it's fun. I love the fact that you're going to be drawing 3 cards, and everybody, if you're playing a multiplayer game, everybody's sharing those 3 cards. And so you flip 3 cards. One of them is going to go into your poker hand, and it tells you what you're going to score if you have a whatever poker hand you have. 2 of those cards are going to determine where you're going to be playing on the board. You're going to first determine the suit. So say I drew a 9 of diamonds, the diamond, and I go like, okay, I'm playing in the suit of diamonds. And I put that over the suit area. I'm going to say I'm doing the 9 diamonds. But then the number is going to tell you where you're playing at in the suit. Basically, if I play a 3 of clubs for the number, I'm playing in basically the 3 area of diamonds. And a lot of times when you're playing in certain areas, you can play below it as long as you play the trail is the only one that you can play below. So if I'm playing 3 of diamonds, I need to make sure I can do the diamonds, which is the mine. And so when you're doing that, since I'm playing the 3 of diamonds, I just cross off one side of the action and get the reward there. It has the 4 suits, of course. You have the Badland or the Trail, which is hearts. Then you have the Badlands, which is where you're going to be a rustler and you're trying to get a wanted. Oh, you're also drawing a 4th card, but you don't see what it is because it's the sheriff card. And you need to beat the sheriff for wanted posters and stuff like that. It is such a fantastic game. And if you really want to try this game, I know you can buy the print and play version of it online and print out the things and just have a regular deck of cards.
Yeah.
And it'll work just as well. But I really did enjoy playing this one. I think we were talking about engine builders, and you were talking about it earlier on one of your other games. It's combo-tastic to the extreme. It's like, oh, I did this, and I got this reward, now I can do this, and now, since I have this unlocked, I can make this much more easier for me to accomplish. So now I'm going to save these cards now for this, and then I'm going to do this. Oh, because I got this reward, now I can go back over here and hold up this thing over here, and now I got this reward. I'm going to start taking all these wanted posters off. Now I don't have to think. And then when that's all said and done, and you play 5 cards, it's 3 rounds, and you're doing 5 draws, basically, because you have to play a poker hand. After that's all said and done, you have to fight the sheriff card, and you have to have your wanted posters less than what that card is. And you don't know what that card is, because you take it from the bottom of the deck, and you hide it. And so it could be an ace, and the ace only is considered 11 when it's in the poker hand. Every other area, it's always considered a 1. So if the sheriff draws an ace and you have 2 wanted posters, you lose against the sheriff, and so you'll get a penalty for that. So you always want to keep your wanted posters down. And so you're like, I'm going to take this reward, and I'm going to do this. But I also like when you go to town, you could start hunting for cards, or you could go to the casino and you could start bidding for cards. So if they all come up red, all right, I get some gold that I can spend later on. Or my personal favorite is hunting for cards. And so you're trying to find the queen, the king, or the jack. And so it has a lot of fantastic stuff on here. So Flip Town, easily one of my favorite flip and writes of recent memory. But my biggest gripe, it is hard to read. So tiny to read. And my 40-year-old eyes struggle with it. I could just imagine someone who's a gamer in their 50s and 60s that haven't had eye surgery and have to use corrective lenses for nearsightedness. It is rough.
Yeah.
Flip Down.
Some of the games that he made is Jambo Asante, which you haven't played. Louis the 16th, with Mafioso was re-implement. That's, I think, what you were talking about, right?
No, it was let me see the list.
Karuba.
That one.
Karuba. He also made Las Vegas.
Well, we liked Las Vegas.
Right.
But it was Karuba. I know that's the one that we're talking about where it's the adventure game. I love that.
Runestones, which other than the colorblindness part of it,
that was
a
rough,
cool one.
yeah.
So, yeah, like, I'm all for it.
Yes, and it's going to be Dammit Dom games in a little bit.
Yep. And the last game I wanted to talk about. Me and my wife have been really getting into a TV show lately. We are almost done with it. This is called Only Murders in the Building. Yep.
I keep telling you it was good.
Yeah, and so we got into it. We started watching it. Well, not too long ago, about half a year ago, when we went to Tucson recently, the local game store there had a copy of Only Murders in the Building. So, no, it had the other one. I might be getting those mixed up. But anyway, I bought a copy of Only Murders in the Building, and therefore, I was like, I've been really enjoying the show. I want to try the game. Let's give it a try. And so this is a cooperative, like, path connection kind of game. It's a deduction game, and you are working together to try and solve the best way to solve it is by connecting certain items and certain suspects together. There's always one suspect, and it could be anyone in the building. There's 12 rooms, and you're trying to connect it. It's a path lane game where you're trying to move around the buildings. Once you get to a certain spot, only certain characters, Charles, Mabel, or Oliver, can get into the room, in which case they'll take any of the path tiles. You're trying to collect them and then build paths on the board in the courtyard in the middle. If you ever tie a suspect to one of the items, you have this cool little device that looks at the front of the Arconia building, and you open up the window, and there's always one scenario card in there, and it will tell you if, like, let's say it was the record, the vinyl record.
Yeah.
If that's the item, you interrogate them about it, and they will tell you whether that's in their room or not. And if it is not, then all of the ones that do have the record in there, then you take the clue tokens off, and then therefore you know that that's eliminated. You know that's not a room you need to look at.
Yeah.
If it is in there, then you take off the ones that doesn't have it, right? And so you're using this elimination. You're trying to connect them using path tiles to the different items. And once you have enough information, you have to connect that suspect to that room and prove that they were the ones, and then reveal it and see if you won. And what makes this really interesting is that every round, every episode as they call it, you have a new setup. Mabel, Oliver, and Charles will all be in different corners, and there's an accomplice token that moves around, which is gathering tiles. If he gets 6 or more tiles, then you lose the game. Otherwise, you are trying to maneuver around, trying to get them into the rooms. And you do so by playing action cards, which are either move 0 to a number of spaces, or search the room, which each character can do once per round. And you make your plan at the beginning of the round, and you're like, all right, I think Mabel should go into this one. I think Oliver should definitely go into this one. Let's try and keep him away from the accomplice. I should keep it good. All while never looking at your hand. Because as soon as you're ready, as soon as we split up and look at our hand, we can no longer talk. And we have to play cards in order, trying to get the pawn one character at a time to where they need to be. And sometimes we can, like, buy for time and, like, let the accomplice move, which might hurt us more. Or we might be able to just pass and hope for the best, or remove the character from there, which might prevent them from getting a token. Yeah, all this different stuff. It was really cool. Decent components. My only real gripe about it is, one, it's from a company that no longer exists. It was from Funko Games, which is a bummer. But
they sort of exist, but they're more of a...
Right, they're going to be Tempest Studios at some point.
Yeah, but no, the Funko's still kind of there, but they're bare minimum now.
Right, bare minimum. But the thing is, the cards, the 16 action cards that you shuffle up every single round, they're standard flimsy cards that Funko kind of made a lot of. So a lot of their mass market cards, these all have kind of a bad finish. I'm going to sleeve those for sure. But other than that, the rest of the game is fun. Like that Arconia tile, or the piece, that is a great component.
Nice.
The graphic design, even like the little question mark, the little clue tokens feel like Azul tiles with a question mark on it. It's cool. They didn't need to make them that nice.
Yeah,
the cardboard tokens are nice. The pieces are nice. The board doesn't sit flat, so the entire time we played at it like as a chevron, and we had to like weigh some stuff down, and it's like a 6-fold board, but it's only about that big.
Jesus.
So it's kind of weird. I think it's just because of the box that they had fitted in. But overall, it's a really fun game. I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8. It was pretty enjoyable. maybe a little less than that. I don't know. It was really easy, though, but between me and one other player. So I'd like to try it at 3 and 4.
Okay, sounds good. I do want to try this one, though.
Yeah. So let's get into today's episode right now. We're talking about our top 8 Dammit Dom games. Friend of the podcast, a longtime gamer that we've always had in our group.
Yep.
Great guy. We love going to conventions with him. If you ever come to a convention with us, there's a good chance you'll meet him as well.
Yeah, he's usually with us.
He's not one of the co-creators of the show, but yet he's...
He helps out a lot behind the scenes because he teaches a lot of games too.
That's true. Yeah.
As we can see here.
As we see. So we decided give him a send up. He should really be here reacting.
The only reason I didn't invite him for this one is because it's a double episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
I didn't want him to sit through another episode.
Right. Yeah, he puts up with us enough. But we're going to talk about the top 8 games.
He puts up with me just fair enough. It's you, on the other hand.
I want to say,
I have never seen a man hate a game so much that even though he was losing, was pushing for the end game.
Yes. Now, in my defense, it wasn't one I designed, at least, but it was really bad. I mean, we all, as soon as we were done, we were both like, "Oh, we're looking for a diamond in rough." That was just a rough in the rough. That was.
Oh my god.
There was nothing great about it.
Yeah, you are the problem.
Yeah, Dan Omega, hold on now. Sir. All right, but we're going to talk about the top games that he's shown us that we're like, you know what? Dammit Dom, now we got to go buy this game.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
that's where we came up with Dammit Dom, and that's where he got the name Dammit Dom.
Let's talk about our honorable mentions real quick.
Okay.
I'll start first. Micropolis is one of them. That's like a game of ant hills and an ant farm. It's a tile laying, but you're making 10 tiles.
Bruno Cathala. I already had that before he showed it to you.
Yeah.
Because I had it and I got it played in my other group. I'm like, I really like this one.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, he was the reason about that one.
One I have on here, It's a Wonderful World. Just missing out on my top 8. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little drafting game. It really was a Seven Wonders killer for me. You could see Seven Wonders over his shoulder here, and I have it because it's a Kinderspiel winner. But my It's a Wonderful World is up on the top shelf up there. So.
Yep. Then I have Tribes of the Wind.
That was another good one.
You're looking at the back of everybody else's cards, and that decides what kind of level of actions you get. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah, so the next game on my short list here is one I think might be on your list. It was a really good engine builder. It just missed out, and this is Furnace. I thought that game is fantastic. It's right behind me over here, but I did really enjoy it a lot.
Because I am the ender. And the last one I wanted to talk about was Guild of Merchant Explorers, which the reason why it's not on the list is because it's a cool game. It's very not colorblind friendly, which is
very rough.
One of the hardest parts about it, but
that's one of the reasons why I don't own it.
Yeah, it was also nominated for the Spiel. Yeah. So that's Kennerspiel.
Kennerspiel, yeah.
And that's why I was like, okay, so I'm probably already gonna like
that's
it.
That's why I'm kind of glad it didn't win.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a struggle for me.
Yeah.
And then. My last one I'm going to talk about, just recently bought this one on another one of our Bookman's Run. I actually got it at the same time I got Artifact Seek, and this is Kunta Ora from CGE. I really love that little economic game, how it just moves and transcends as you're going, so really good. So
yeah. Let's make a game about color blindness. Yeah, they have that. It's
anything from Alea.
Hues and Cues.
Oh, Hues and Cues is another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny story. If you follow TikTok, go look at our friend Gamehead Geek on TikTok. He has a video back in the day where he talks about how the colorblind person ended up beating them.
Yep. It was awesome. All right, so we're gonna get in today. Let's go episode. Let's go with number 8. And as always, I'll flip my coin of doom and I'll decide. Which, by the way, new coin of doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to point this out.
Large.
You can't see that at all.
Out.
Yeah, it's going to wash out. It's bright yellow to match his color. It says EBG Coin of Doom on the back and a die on the other side. So here we go. Yeah. I'll start off. My number 8 is a wonderful little puzzle game. I had already known a little bit about it, and it looked like my style. That is, yes, it is a needlessly large coin. I did that on purpose. And this game, I love little spatial puzzles like this. Mm-hmm. And you're scoring animals in the Savannah Park.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure if this was going to make your list.
It did. It barely made it in because I just like this puzzle so much. And I think it's a Kramer or Kiesling, one of the two.
Something like that, yeah.
But you draw a tile, and you replace it with one that's already there, which will determine what everybody else plays, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And you're going through this pattern of laying down the tile, replacing it with others, trying to get them grouped in the right way. You don't want them near fires. per se. You want them near watering holes because that's how they'll score. Because then you're going to multiply the number of animals in the group, times the number of watering holes, and then you just get points. It's a simple little puzzle point system game. I like it a lot. Savannah Park is a good app, too, as well, if you want to give it a try. It's pretty inexpensive, and it does function pretty well. It's mostly a multiplayer solitaire game. It's not a big deal. It's one of those ones where, you put down a single piece, and everyone takes the same piece and does it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a real simple game, but works really well. So that's Savannah Park is my number 8.
All right, my number 8 is probably one of the best deduction games out there right now. And for me, this one is good because it's a co-op deduction game, which is weird. But what it does, it has a really neat twist to it. And this is almost innocent. From Colossus? Yeah, Colossus game or Colossal Games. And what I like about it is, one, it's cooperative. But what's interesting about it is I don't have my information. I'm trying to find out what my information is. No. I have the person on my left, if I remember correctly, their information. So when, say, in a 3-player game, you ask me a question, I'll give you the answer to your question, but then everybody else is going around there and giving the information to the person that they need. And basically the question is like, how many do I have in this row, or how many do I have in this column? Or is my such and such like suspect in this row or column, and so forth. And I like that aspect because it's like, oh, we only have so many questions that we can narrow it down, but it's not this and not this. And I already have some information because I know the cards that I have in behind my screen is not mine. Right. So I can mark that stuff off. And so like someone tells me, oh, I have 2 down that aisle, and I know I've already eliminated that guy, and I know for a fact it's not this guy because that's your guy. So that means that's my weapon because that's the only thing I could think of because I have process of elimination and all that. And it's just so while there, and then you're just towards the end of the game, you're sitting there, or the round or whatever it is, the game, and you're sitting there like, oh man, it's 50-50. It's either this one or this one. I just don't know which one it is. And so you're trying to be like, okay, let me just do this real quick. Let me, it has to be this one. So you write it out and you try to guess, and then you have, oh, I messed up. All right, so I have one more guess. Okay. And then it's got to be this one. And then you're like, no. I'm like, where did I screw up at? And so we're talking about games that lead to memorable moments. And what I like about this one, too, is some of our other stuff like replay value. There's so many different scenarios where the maps become harder. Then you could play with a variant that makes it nobody in that thing, which means that's your guy and that's your guy and that's your guy, but there's no cards for those, so it means you got the one thing that didn't come out. And so I really do enjoy this game, so much so that it was on my Secret Santa Christmas list, and I ended up getting it this year. So that is Almost Innocent. Fantastic cooperative deduction game.
Cool. On to our number 7. Here we go. That'll be you.
All right, my number 7 is another really good game, but this one's not deduction. This one is a rondel dice placement movement game, Red Cathedral. Devere, this is one of the few games that really put Devere on my map, but they also put them on my list because, come on, I have the expansion in the base game, and they don't fit in the same box, and it drives me insane because of how small that game is, but it really does pack a lot of punch in this game. I love the rundown mechanism. I love the dice manipulation. I love how you can upgrade your board to a specific way. I'm like, I'm doing this, so I want this to upgrade. But my personal favorite part of this game is that the czar yells at you if someone completes the part of the cathedral above yours, and you get punished for it. I find that funny, and it's like, oh god, I really need to get this resources because Gamehead Geek is pretty close to finishing that top part of the thing, and I really need to get this done because I need those points, and I don't want to get yelled at by the czar for not finishing the lower half of the cathedral. So it's like, oh god, and it's that race and that pull. I'm like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Let me just get that. Let me look at that little brick right there. I just need that one little brick. And I love that aspect of it. And I love just how everything works in here. I love this game so much. I bought the upgraded bits from Board Game Geek. The little resin bits. Oh, man, it's such good. The rondel, there's so many smart choices. There's so many fun choices. It is like, yeah, I'm going to screw you over now, Danny, and finish this off. And you're like, it leads to again. For such a Euro game, it leads to a lot of memorable moments. And I love that when you get some fantastic memorable moments in player interaction. on a Euro game that you weren't expecting. So the Red Cathedral is my number 7.
Very cool. My number 7 is another game about combos and combo-tastics, and it's all a small, simple little card game. This is just such a cool little game. This is Fantasy Realms. And I had to put it on my list just because I really enjoy, like, all you do on your turn is just play a card, draw a card, whether it's discard a card or draw a card from one that's already up there or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You don't really, and you're just trying to make the best hand of 7 cards. That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's literally the whole game. You just figured it out. It's by Bruce Glasgow, I believe.
Yeah.
The designer
WizKids? WizKids.
Yeah, WizKids, and the designer of Betrayal House on the Hill.
Yeah.
And every card is unique. There's like 50-something cards in the deck. Everything scores differently. Everything has its own value of how many points it's worth. Everything has its own possibilities. And they're kind of thematic, too, in a way, right?
Yeah,
like,
and this combos with that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Like if you have the Spellbook or the Magician or the Wizard. Or whatever, right? If you have like a Knight and like 3 other Warriors or whatever. If you have a Castle with a King or a Queen or both. If you have more points. If you have... Like, certain things will be detracted if you have bad weather, but the bad weather might help with certain elements or creatures or whatever. There's just so many things going on with
and that push and pull.
I make it sound like it's a complicated game, but it's a really simple game. It's one of those games where I hand down and I'm like, all right, what you're going to do is you're just going to draw a card and play a card. And at the end of the turn, you'll have 7 cards. Once there's a certain number of cards in the discard pile, I think 10.
10.
Then you just score your hand. That's it. That's literally all the game is. And there's so many cool things. Just because everything is unique, it makes it just that much more fun.
What I like about this one, too, is the... you could draw off the top of the deck, but that's going to make the game go quicker because you always have to discard a card, too.
Yes.
So if you're drawing off the top of the deck, and it could be the card that you drew, you can put it in the discard pile, and that gives an interesting choice on that aspect because it's like... I like this hand, so I'm just going to draw off the top of the deck and try to get this timed out.
Right, exactly. Or you could just draw from the discard piles. Because there's not a discard pile, right? It's like a discard area. Line. And if you don't discard or take one of those cards, you still have to discard, but then that doesn't increase the timer at all. So when that timer hits 10, then game over, score what you got, right?
I like that little push and pull.
Yeah, it's super cool. Fantasy Realms, super clever. And they made like different versions of it, right? They made a Star Trek, they made a Marvel version.
No, not the Star Trek. Yeah. The Marvel version is pretty cool. I like that one a lot. But the Star Trek, the missions one, it's so...
And didn't they announce that they're making like a new version?
Yes, they're making a Greek version, a Greek mythology version.
Oh, yeah. See, that would be super fun. I like that a lot.
For Fantasy Realms, it's a fantastic game. I agree with you. It didn't make my list. It was on my short list.
Yeah, but that's one that Dom showed me. And
well, yeah.
There's a reason it's on my list.
No, I didn't like the Star Trek version of it. It was really rough.
Yeah. He likes Star Trek.
I like Star Trek.
I like Star Trek a lot.
You can see it like right behind my head there. I got the deck building game over there.
Daniel card. Sliced a piece. Yes! Let's go!
No, I didn't like the Star Trek missions game from Fantasy.
I should have defended you so quickly.
But I do like Star Trek. I personally am a Next Generation person. I also loved Enterprise, but you're an OG.
I'm an OG. I like the original series.
All right. But anyways, number 6.
Number 6. I flipped a coin. It'll be me starting off.
Go ahead.
So another clever card game that Dom showed us. This is by Michael Menzel, both doing the art and the design, called Dragon Keepers. Super neat.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
Yeah, I mean, because this is, like... It was already... Hey, Masmo. This was already, like, one that I was intrigued by, and then when he showed it to me, I was like, okay, I'm curious about it. And then just the give and take, like, the way it works is real simple. You either take one of the cards, they look like books, right?
Mm-hmm.
On left or right pages, and it'll show you, like, what kind of card you need, or how many you need to score of those cards to trade in for some kind of benefit or points. And you're trying to trade out, it's like a set collection game, kind of like almost Fantasy Realms in a way.
Yeah.
But you're trying to get sets of certain dinosaurs to play out, or dragons to play out in order to make those sets. they both start with a D and they're both like lizard-esque. Come on, give me that one. Cacaw. Dodo birds. There we go. No, so Dragon Keepers has cool components, really neat art, annoying box. I hate the box size. It's like long. It's about yay tall.
It is.
It's like a domino size, and it's super thin.
If you're going to put anything in that box size, it should be the Devere size. That's perfectly sized for it. You don't need that extended long box.
You really don't. Yeah, but other than that, like this game is super neat how it works. I remember the very first time he showed us, I was like, yep, that's on my list. And it was near Christmas anyway, so that immediately jumped onto my wish list for
I also
Christmas.
remembered that one too. You're like, I've been looking at this one. And you're like, when we started playing it, and you're like, turn to him because he sits next to you at the table, and you're like, Dammit Dom.
Yeah, and it's so good because we have this weird thing with our game group, right?
Yeah.
Is that if I bring a game to the group, there's a good chance that we're gonna get the same experience, but I'm gonna enjoy it more because I'm the one who brought it. I probably have invested it, even if I admit that it's not as good as I'm giving it credit for. I'm already biased because I brought it in. Yeah. So that's why I appreciate it when Dom brings in games I've been looking at, because then I'm like, okay, cool, I'm glad you have this because now I don't need it, right? And it's like, now I can look at it with an unbiased eye because I'm just trying the game before I own it, before I'm biased towards it. This was one that, like, I was already looking at it. We played it, like, this cemented it on my list. I wanted that game.
Yeah, but when we talk about memorable moments, that's one of my favorite moments because I remember you played it and you're like... And I heard that sigh at the table, and then I see your head come up, and you turn to Dom, and you're like, damn it, Dom.
Yep. That's going to be my game. I need this. And I need to play it again. I haven't played it since. That's the bad part.
I do like this one a lot. It just didn't make my list because the other games here, like I said, all the games here did make my top 100. I didn't check my top 100 until after I made the list, but literally these are in the ranking of my top 100, which is funny. So my number 6 here is another one that really, really did enjoy a lot. You know me, I like engine builders. Yeah. And I love little, really interesting mechanisms for that. Yep. And this one is one I like so much that when I saw it being sold at a store, I picked up the base game and then I backed immediately the Kickstarter that was currently on to get the upgraded bits in the newest expansion. This one is Raising Robots. Yep. I love the line that it goes down and how you're trying to think wingspan with a little bit more steps, where you're firing down a line if you get into that section, which I find funny is because you're like, okay, this is happening, and I bid a little bit in here, so we're going to do it at this power and stuff like that. Yeah. I like that little aspect of like how the power or what is going to fire per round based on what we're deciding on. I like that aspect of it. I think the art is fantastic. Nauvoo Games really knocked it out of the park with the art style in this one. I love the fact that there's little hidden Easter eggs. So they're basically children scientists building robots, and so you get stuff like Einstein and Newton, but there's also board game designers in there like Elizabeth Hardgrave. I think her name's Lizzie in there. So I love the little tongue-in-cheek aspect of it with the art and the coolness of it. I love the artwork of the robots where it looks like children building robots, but they're really smart children building robots. It can go a little long, which is fine. I don't mind games that can go long and it doesn't feel long, but I'm just letting people know that you think you're going to be playing a cutesy game that can play in about an hour and a half. And if you're relatively new to this game, it can go 2 hours. Yep. But it's well done. It's pretty not, I wouldn't say streamlined, but it's efficient. Yep. It's like you know exactly what each step is doing after a few rounds, or at least one round. It's like, okay, this does this, this does this, this is triggering this. Very simple. You're basically playing cards out there to decide what actions you're going to try to take. You have bonus little gems that can allow you to do actions that other people are firing off if you get that stuff out there. Yep. I like everything about it. Raising Robots from Nauvoo Games. Yeah,
and I agree with you, Masmo. Like, the amount of amulets, the scoring tokens is randomized, but it doesn't matter.
And they're talking about Dragon Keepers.
Yeah, Dragon Keepers, yeah. Raising Robots was really fun, though.
I did like that one.
All right, number 5. Yep. Here we go. All right. So this is a very clear coin of who goes first. I need to reprint this, make it a little cleaner. Yeah. All right. My number 5. You said everything that you like about engine building games. A lot of what's coming up is going to be engine building because me and Dom really, really appreciate like efficiency puzzles, logic, and like that combo-tastic nature of games. Yep. So when you mentioned it in your honorable mentions with Furnace, yeah, this was...
I knew this was going to be on your...
This absolutely was one of those games where I'm like, I like how you build up this engine really fast that starts triggering everything and hitting on all these things and all these things, and you're building up momentum, and then the game's over. And you're like,
wait, what? It was so close!
It leaves you wanting for more, but it does such a good job of, it's like, I'm just going to build up this massive backlog, and you're just going to go with it, and you're going to love every minute of it. I love that part about it. Furnace is an awesome one. It's decent components. The box is way oversized, unnecessarily so, but the game is really cool. It works really well. The engine really feels combo-tastic. I like how you trigger everything in a row. It's just so super neat. And everything on every round is going to go for it, right? You know, and you feel really clever playing it. It's one of those games that I just appreciated him showing me, and I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah, I like Furnace a lot. Like I said, it was on my short list just because the other games on here I like a little bit more. My number 5 is one that we actually talked about last week. It was in our top 8 debate last week. But I also really like this one because it combines two of my favorite, and I think this might be the start of our crossovers. It combines two of my favorite mechanisms, deck building and worker placement. This is Lost Ruins of Arnak. I love the puzzly aspect of this game. I love, and I say this, you don't need it, but I highly recommend you get this first expansion, Expedition Leaders. That is a must-have for me. I will never not play this game without that because it gives you something to work for. It gives you the boards a little bit more where you're not just running up the track with the archaeological digs and the books and stuff like that. You're can explore and still win the game, because I feel that was the weak point of Lost Ruins of Arnak in the base game, is that you really need to concentrate on the tracks and do a little bit of exploration. This one, if you have the right character, the exploration really feels really cool for you. That's how you're going to score your points. You get bonus points. Are you able to go more on that aspect? I really do love this game. The art is fantastic. It's one of the better CGE games when it comes to artwork. The monsters, the Guardians, I think that was what they're called, are fantastic looking when you flip them up and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And I love everything about this game. We talked about it at length in the last podcast, but this one really hits to a certain extent. My wife enjoys this game. I remember showing it to her, and she's like, okay, I like this one. Because and we talk about it. This is one of those games that make you feel clever. If I buy this card, and then I combo this, and I play it like this, and then you have the Expedition Leaders that just give you that little extra nuance to that game. Oh, man, it's fantastic. Lost Ruins of Arnak, especially with Expedition Leaders.
Cool. On to our number 4. Here we go.
And so I start number 4, and this is another one I think is going to be a crossover here. I really do like this one. This is a going up tracks, polynomial, space game. This is called Planet Unknown. And I think that for sure this is going to be a crossover because I sold you my original copy when I got my deluxe edition in. So I love this.
I still owe you for that? Probably, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
We did a trade. I got a couple games off for you.
Yeah.
I love the Lazy Susan. That is probably by far one of the best component qualities that this game has. But it's functional too, because whoever is the start player rotates it however they want. This way they could choose which stack they want to go into. And then we're forced to pull from whatever stack is pointing at, or we're in facing us. And I love the little cardboard that says, this is the stack you can go into. I'm like, I don't want those ones. They don't fit anywhere in here. What the heck, man? Or I don't want that piece. I want that piece over there that he's got. I know. But I love everything about this one. In my favorite part of this game is because you have the varying planets, which is cool. You have the varying corporations that feel so different. You had one that you were bouncing around all your different tracks when we played it, and you like that one. And I really love the one that I had where I was like, okay, I do this, and I am like, okay, now I'm in the water, and so I can do this, and it's like a water corporation, and it's just like, oh, now I hit this one, now I can move up this part of the track. Okay, now I hit this mark, and now I can move up this part of the track. Okay, now I upgraded this part of it, now this track goes up, and I love... And it feels so different. I'm like, I'm doing all this. And we talked about it earlier on another game. It is multiplayer solitaire. You're not really worrying about what other people are doing until someone rotates polynomials that you don't want. It's like, I need more water pieces. Don't give me water pieces. Why am I getting these freaking moon pieces or these comets in here? I don't need comets. I gotta find a way to get rid of those comets. Yeah, no, I love everything about this game. I think it's fantastic. I really need to get to the Supermoon expansion played. Looks really neat. But Planet Unknown, I need to get this back to the table.
Yeah, Masmo, yes. The regular version does have a Lazy Susan with it. Yep. All right, my number 4 is a very simple little auction area control game with polyominoes. But
you're going to see a theme here.
Yeah, but it's from a different designer, a different company, from Emerson Matsuuchi. Dom showed us the big, beautiful version of this game, Foundations of Rome. I got Foundations of Metropolis. I don't need that ridiculously big one.
Foundations of Metropolis is on my short list.
Yeah, Foundations of Metropolis was the one I got, just because I really just appreciate how simple it is. Emerson Matsuuchi is one of those designers where it's like he doesn't tend to come out with that many games that we see all that often. He's not one of the designers that we follow like as consistently as like a Stefan Feld or Phil Walker Harding.
Phil Walker, yeah.
But again, if I see his name on something,
it's going to intrigue me.
It's going to intrigue me too, right? I know it's going to be a clean design. I don't ever see non-clean versions of his games.
He made the Halloween game. What is it? One versus many hidden movement games. Very efficient. Very efficient. I was surprised.
Yep. Exactly. He's a really neat designer, and this game is no different. And I'm glad that originally they were going to stick with the Foundations of Rome mega version of the game, and I'm so glad that they actually made one that's feasible for a non $300 player.
Well, that
to buy it.
A decent box space for people who don't like me. I have the smallest collection in a sense because I have the smallest room.
Yeah.
So, what is it? The 2 expansion boxes are basically up to my roof on that top shelf right there. It is ridiculous how big they are. It is it's obnoxiously big. It looks good. It's fantastic. But holy crap,
looks great. But I don't know. Like, I get why people buy these big epic like war games that have like crazy pieces and miniatures and all that stuff, and they have this massive.
Well, we agree. Agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But I get why like people play like those mini games, like dudes on a map like battling each other, like your Cyclades game that we played the other day, right? I get why that's in a big box. This is a 30 minute to 45 minute auction game.
Yeah, it's very quick.
It's a simple engine builder. Like, why make it a $300 game? That's insane. But it's still cool.
But it's so clean too. And the Foundations of Metropolis is still really good looking, even though it's polynomial cardboard. But the cardboard's really nice. The trays,
the tray still works. There's a overlapping piece of plastic that still fits all the trays together. The fact that they did that and it's $50, I think that's definitely worth the dollar or worth the dollars.
Yeah.
Yep. So number 3.
All right, number 3.
And this is the only game on this list that is not yet in my collection. And I say yet because I will, as soon as I find a way to do it, I will put it on my list. And this is just an awesome game. I know we're having some weird little issues, but that's fine. Some latency issues. This game is a worker placement simultaneous with a Lazy Susan, kind of. Your board is made up of 4 different quadrants. This is a cheese-themed game. Yeah. I know, you gave me that look like, what are you talking about?
Yep. Now I remember.
You can only place your workers out in your board, but they have different directions that they're facing.
Masbill's called it.
Yep, fromage. You have different directions that the cheese wedge is facing. And then at the end of when everybody's placing out their workers, you rotate the board 90 degrees. Any workers that are facing you come back to you and you can use again on this new segment. Knowing that timing is so cool. This is like if you took Zolkin, made it even more variable and simultaneous.
And quicker.
It's so cool. I really liked this game already. I'm curious, Board Game Ward, why are you struggling with the theme? You can make all sorts of cheesy jokes.
Oh, God, don't. No. No.
Aha, yes, I stand by it. No, but Fromage, I'm just so impressed with it. R2I, or whatever their Road to Infamy
yeah.
The company that publishes it, I'm always so impressed by their production value, and their games are just super intriguing, right? I liked their Roll and Write that's on a globe. Like, that's so creative.
Canvas is another good one.
It is definitely not multiplayer solitaire because worker placement does work the same way.
And you're blocking people from spots,
right.
too.
Exactly. So you might be sending out a worker that's there for 3 turns, and it blocks the next 2 players until it eventually gets around to somebody else.
And another thing about this one, I don't have it either. I do probably may pick it up. I'm going on a trip to Denver, so if I see it there and if it's relatively decent priced, I may pick it up for you because I owe you board games.
Well, sure, we'll figure it out.
So what's cool about our friend group, and it's a little off tangent here, is that we don't pay each other in money for helping each other out. We pay each other in board games.
Yeah.
Me and a buddy took down a tree in my front yard because it wasn't doing too well, and so he already made a request what board games he wants. So
maybe we should hit up El Paso here pretty soon. You know? That's awesome. I love that.
But Formaggio is something I'm looking into because it is such a fantastic game. I don't disagree. It didn't make my list because I forgot about it in all honesty.
This was the only one that I don't own of all the ones on my list. So.
And that's how I could get away with it. Is like I don't own it, so he didn't force me to buy it yet.
It's not that bad. That's how you know you have an addiction.
Yeah, it's that good. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's how we can get away with it from our spouses. It'd be like, I didn't pay for it. It was given to me because, I helped them out.
Yeah. Like, we owe him a game. He did all this work for us, and we don't even have to give him real money. Let's just get him a game.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So, yeah, I don't disagree. I think that one's a fantastic one.
Yep.
My number 3, it was funny when he said Formaggio, I'm like sitting there like, damn it, I forgot that one. Because I had already wrote in my list, so I was like, I'm not going to change anything. My number 3 is a game that you actually don't like. I really do enjoy this one a lot. It is a fantasy flight game based on Marvel. It's called Marvel's Champions. It's a fantastic LCG. It's one of my go-to solo or 2-player games that when it's just 2 of us playing games, I'll have him come over and we'll play that one, in all honesty. It is fantastic when you're trying to do one-shots. It has a great campaign style. It's Marvel Champions, I said. Yep. You just weren't paying attention because you were reading the chat. Nope. Did he just call you Daniel Jr.?
No, he wants to name. He's asking if he send us fromage. Can he name our 4th born child? I only have 2, so it's like that's.
And I have none. You can name the Minotaur over there, Daniel Jr.
Yeah, you can help name the Minotaur. Daniel Jr. won't be a good name for that Minotaur.
Anyways, Marvel Champions. It's a great, fantastic one-shot. I love all the different how each of the characters actually play like you would expect in the comic books. I love the alter ego going back and forth between the alter ego and your superhero. Basically, if you need to rest and stuff like that. We basically beat up on Rhino a lot because that's the best way to learn new characters. But I've been playing a solo campaign through it and playing a couple characters and learning how they play. I really, really did enjoy the mess out of it. I know you don't like it as much. You feel like it overstays its welcome, and I agree. When you're playing a higher player count, that's why I said this is, for me, perfect at a solo game, or 2 players. Because it's like, I did my turn, you do your turn. I did my turn, we do your turn, and it goes quicker. So Marvel Champions, I think, is a fantastic game. I like this one a little bit more than Arkham Horror LCG for one simple fact. Is that Arkham Horror LCG doesn't have the one-shots unless you buy the one-shots. Like, I could take the new sets and just end up using the cards in there, and it's real quick. So I do like that aspect of it. So Marvel Champions, my number 3.
Yeah. And Board Game Bard is just saying that he would... I love the discussion. You guys just keep it up. I love this. Number 2. Here we go. I'll be starting this off. This one is... I know, as much as we like engine builders... This is an auction game, and I like this auction game. And this thing is just an embarrassment of riches. Everything scores in so many different ways, and everyone's going to win auctions, and everyone's going to do something. It's just, you're basically bidding on which one.
So we're only going to have one crossover.
Well, you might.
No.
This is Nidavellir.
Yeah, because I knew which one you were talking about when you said auction. Yeah. And I'm like, that means there's only one crossover, and I think I know which one it is then.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Nidavellir. Serge Leger, I absolutely adore this game. I think it's so cool how it works. It has some cool mechanisms that you have 5 coins that you choose from. You're bidding on 3 spots, and you throw 2 in your bag. Unless you put a combining coin as one of your bids, and then that combines the 2 that are in your bag to make an even better coin, and you can upgrade your coins, and they're going to be worth points anyway. But then you're buying 5 different types of cards, which all score in different ways. It's very common to get 2, 3, and maybe even 400 points in a game. It's massively point salad. There's nothing you could do that's wrong in the game. There's just slightly less good. like compared to the other players. It's combo after combo after combo in an auction game. It's so fun. I don't hear enough people talking about it lately. It got really hot when it first came up.
Yeah.
The app would help to score it. I don't disagree with that.
I like the game. I'm probably the one that's the least. I'm the coolest on this one because
we also don't tend to like auctions. Right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm not a big auction game fan. There's some that are okay aspect of it,
sure,
but Gamehead Geek owns this one because of Dammit Dom. You own this one because of Dammit Dom. Dammit Dom owned this one because he showed it to everybody, and I'm the only one that's like, it's fine. I like it. It's probably one of the few auction games that I'll more than happily play. Yeah. But yeah, it's just I'm the one that's coolest on this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That makes sense. It's like me, like a really good worker.
Dudes on a map.
Yeah, dudes on a map game. It's like, I might like it pretty well considering, but it's not.
It's not something that you're into, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like Sickleys up there.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this is pretty good, but I don't need it.
Yeah, I would never need it. Yep.
All right, so my number 2 is, I know for a fact, not on your list. That's why I said there's only going to be one crossover, because you only just recently played it. You did enjoy it, and I don't think it was a Dammit Dom game because he didn't show it to you. I did. But Dammit Dom showed this one to me, so therefore it's a Dammit Dom game for me. And it has 2 of my favorite designers, Eric Lang and Rob Davio. This is Cthulhu Death May Die.
Oh, okay.
It is by far the best Cthulhu game out there. I like the fact that they are just using the characters but making their own stories based off of them. I love the fact that you can interchange and say chapter 1 and use a different monster instead of Cthulhu or Hastur. Yeah, I think his name is the Man in Yellow. You could choose whatever monster you want. You choose whatever scenario you want to do. And then have at it and pick your characters.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. I love the modularity of it. I think the minis are fantastic. This is one of the creme de la creme when it comes to Cool Mini or Not, or CMON, however you want to say it nowadays, to their minis. I think it is fantastic. It is a good storyline, but you don't have to keep doing the story. They're somewhat well supported, especially with everything that's going on right now. For now, so there's enough out there right now if you want to get into it. I like everything about it. Cthulhu Death May Die. It is so good. I like that one. It's one of the few dice chucking, kill things with dice games that I think you're okay with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You make it sound like I don't like games that like kill things with dice. I just don't like generic ones. It's like, okay, we're just kind of going the same procedures as you, right?
Yeah.
But that one was fun, right? That one was silly. It had some
I like the fact that we made you Rasputin just because you tend to die in those games. Yeah. It's like, we're going to give you the guy that has the resurrection. And I was the one who didn't die once, you know? Like, that no one died in that game, but you came close.
I came close. I did. All right, on to our number ones. I'm just going to take this one.
Because it's a crossover.
Because it's a crossover, yep. Planet Unknown.
Yep.
Yeah, God, the combo-tastic nature of this. This is 100% the style of game that Dom knows that I'm looking for.
Yep.
I love track games. I like combos. I like variable powers. I like simple mechanisms that lead to something more. It's super neat how it works. I like it a lot. I don't have anything more to say to it other than what you said. Great production, cool game, really neat. We need to keep it going. Like, Planet Unknown is dope.
Oh, yeah, Planet Unknown is fantastic. And so that's why I'm like, Lost Ruins of Arnak didn't make your list when you were talking Nita Valier. But I knew what your number 1 was going to be. Can you guess what my number 1 is? It is, I think, my number...
Marvel United?
Nope. That wasn't a Dammit Dom. That was a Gamehead Geek game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not that hard if you think about it. It's one of my favorite systems. You can play competitive and co-op.
Unmatched, yeah.
He was the first one that showed us. We played his first copy, or the very first volume of it, and I fell in love with it and got into it. You all went in a Funko. Me and Dammit Dom were the ones that went into Unmatched, and this was probably my Dammit Dom game. This was the first one he ever really showed me that I'm like, wow, I loved what this does. Yeah. I love the competitive aspect of it. I love the Tales to Amaze version where it is the co-op version, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about it. This is the co-op version. It's how I train new people to play the system, because all you have to concentrate is on your character. I will run the bad guys. This way you know what they're doing. The IPs are really cool that they have. The Witcher, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that are coming out soon. You have, what is the other IPs? The Marvel IPs. Your personal favorite set, Houdini and Genie, play really well.
They're fun.
I love Cobble and Fog. That is still my favorite version of it because I love the way Dracula plays. I love the way the Invisible Man plays. There was a Buffy set that I was just able to pick up copies for Dammit Dom in Gamehead Geek. I love everything about this. I love the tactical card play of it. I love the fact that you could do a free-for-all where it's 1v1v1v1. You could do 4-player and it's just free-for-all. Or you could play a teams. Or you could play 3 players and it's just a free-for-all in that aspect of it too. I love the fact that you could play co-op and the game gets harder if you want to add more stuff to it like event cards. Mm-hmm. So this is well-supported. Restoration Games really knocked it out of the park with this game. I enjoy the mess out of it. I'm just talking about the system. Pick your poison when it comes to this. Pick an IP one. I just recently played the Sun's Origin with as Oda Nobunaga, and he's really cool because he's got his allies and he boosts everybody that you're working with. So he works really well with the co-op. But I love the Marvel sets too because they really feel like the superhero. So they really knocked this system out of the park. I still support it, and when I was mentioning about Gamehead Geek, is like I already put in my games. He wants me to pick up the Witcher sets for him.
Okay.
So that's how much we love this one. So yeah, Unmatched, my number one Dammit Dom game, and this was the easiest one to put on the list. I'm like, Unmatched, no bars about it. It's my number one because it's the most money I've sunk in a game because of Dammit Dom.
Yep, quite literally, financially, man, why you got to do this to me, right? So we hope you enjoyed that episode. Those are our top 8 Dammit Dom games. Mm-hmm. Props to him. Maybe we'll have to do a Gamehead Geek episode.
We'll do a Gamehead Geek.
Yeah, one of these days. Because we've done one for each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like games that you made me buy. Darn it.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you ever want to contact us directly, you certainly can. We have an email, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com, and that's whether to enter in future contests to give us ideas for future episodes.
Hint.
Or just to say hello or reach out and say what's up and chat with us. That's a way to contact us. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where Daniel will post the games that we've been playing, or I'll post random, ridiculous
weird stuff.
Yeah.
As well as all video re-uploads and reviews are found on youtube.com/everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live when we're filming them, and we love it when our people come in and join in on the conversation, like our friends Illuminous, Masmo, Board Game Bard, and anybody else who joined us in today's episode. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining in on the chat. And stick tuned.
Stick tuned.
Hold on. That's Nickelodeon, isn't it? Stick around. Where can they find us on Twitch? Stay tuned. Twitch.tv/everydayboardgames, and hang around our chatters because we have a surprise for you here after this.
And all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.